There is chatter growing in GOP circles that Senator Ted Cruz could be one of the last candidates standing in this currently crowded Republican field. Lately, Cruz has been deflecting criticism from GOP frontrunner Donald Trump without hitting back, a strategy that could be showing its value as public polls show the senator inheriting about 55% of Trump's supporters if Mr. Trump should falter in this race. So what more should we know about the man who is now leading the polls in Iowa? Joining us now, Judith Miller, a Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative reporter, author, and a Fox News contributor. Also, Lynn Sweet, Washington bureau chief at the Chicago Sun-Times. Welcome to both of you.
Hi, John.
Hi, John.
We had a piece that our own Howard Kurtz wrote for this for the Fox News website. He says that what is striking in reviewing the Cruz coverage is how little we know about the background of the man who is now in a position to win the Iowa caucuses. Well, first of all, Judy, do you agree with that premise? And if so, why?
Well, I think it's true, but I don't think it's because the media are sloppy or lazy, though some are, some aren't. I think it's because he really hasn't been the front runner. I mean, he's standing at 6% nationally in the polls. He has been widely regarded as too conservative to win, if not the nomination, a general election. And so people haven't been taking him seriously, and they have ignored his superb ground organization in Iowa and the other states. The fact that he started in August 2013. That's just a few months after he was elected senator for the first time, preparing the groundwork for this. And now he has refused to take on Donald Trump, which means that he thinks he's in a position to inherit the Trump voters if, in fact, Trump falters. It's been a shrewd game. Believe me, now the media are going to pay attention to him.
Those two seem to sit atop the polls in Iowa. The Iowa caucuses are notoriously difficult to predict, Lynn. But should he win Iowa, or even if he comes in second, can he expect more media attention?
Oh, absolutely. And for Ted Cruz, even coming in a strong third place may, depending on the spread, let him claim victory. The way it works in the media is, especially with so many Republican candidates, whoever is breaking through at the moment gets the attention. And with the added layer of inquiry now over the circumstances of his birth in Calgary, Canada, of a Cuban father, you're going to hear a lot more about the biography of Ted Cruz. Interesting point, why he casts himself as a product of the Tea Party movement, which he is. He really is an elite. He went to Princeton and Harvard and clerked on the Supreme Court. So I think we'll be hearing a lot more about really the essential Ted Cruz biography. In
preparing some of the research for this segment, I was pretty interested in what I think was an amazingly prescient article that Eliana Johnson, who is a frequent guest of ours, wrote for the National Review more than 3 months ago now. The title of it, "When Cruz Makes His Move, Watch Out." And she said she writes, with strong support in Iowa and South Carolina, Cruz has a path through the early states. Both his campaign and his super PAC are flush with cash, and he's a skilled politician who doesn't slip up much on the campaign trail or in debates. But unlike Cruz himself, his strategy is not head-turning, but simple, steady, even creeping. Pretty good analysis, I thought, especially for one written 3 months ago. Judy?
It's really true. And, you know, in politics, that is a lifetime. But I must say that the thing that she doesn't talk about a lot that I think is going to hurt Cruz is the loathing that so many in his own party have for him. I mean, he's been called a wacko bird, a pain in the you-know-what by John Boehner. McCain said that he hadn't played team sports as a child. He was willing to shut down the Senate to achieve something that most people thought was not achievable at all. And I think that the personal animus towards him is going to hurt him. Look at John McCain immediately jumped on him when Trump raised the issue of whether or not he was a citizen. I mean, McCain didn't have to do that. He was waiting for a chance to hurt Cruz, and I think there are a lot of people out there who feel that way in his own party.
We are watching him campaign in Mason City, Iowa right now. He's obviously in a church, a setting where he feels quite comfortable. Lynn, you know, Judy mentioned some of the names that have been thrown at Cruz from his fellow Republicans. It probably didn't endear him to the Republican establishment when he essentially called Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, a liar.
No, but that's part of what the appeal is to the anti-establishment base vote. Another reason that Ted Cruz may be loath to tangle with Trump, besides the fact there's no obvious plus for him, is that he's going after some of the same voter. The people that say whoever, almost if you have a title of leader in Washington, it may be a disqualifier from the get-go. So while it may make it impossible for him to govern from the White House if he were president, because even his own Republicans in the Senate wouldn't want to back what he's doing, it is an effective discussion point on the campaign trail that the people who are against him are the people who have made problems in Washington, and lets him represent himself as the solution.
And sticking with you for the moment, Lynn, you know, one of the frequent criticisms that Republicans have had of the sitting president is that he came to the office as a first-term senator with not a whole lot of political experience from Illinois. And you could say the same thing of Ted Cruz and another Republican frontrunner, Marco Rubio.
Well, that is something. Don't look for consistency, I guess, in politics, are we, John and Judy? Because that to this day, that is the rap that's on President Barack Obama. You know, he started running for president soon after he came to the Senate. That's what Marco Rubio of Florida, first-term senator, and Ted Cruz of Texas are doing. Now, I don't hear that argument coming up very much, but I think if you so there's two things to watch for. What will the birther movement do when it comes to Ted Cruz and scrutinizing the circumstances of his birth? And then when or if will the same people who criticize President Obama for inexperience turn that argument against Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio?
We're going to have to let the voters decide, won't we? Lynn Sweet, Judy Miller. Have a good weekend. Thank you both.
You too, John.
And thank you.